सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शांति शांति शांति. Welcome to Upanishad class. This is our third year and so far we have completed our journey through 8 Upanishads out of 10 major Upanishads. But as I said before, the next two we are going to look at Chhandogya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka. These two, in length, they are equal to the rest of the 8. And they kind of cover everything, breadth and depth of every other Upanishads into these two. So we'll continue our journey with that. Today will be a small class because 10:40 we are asked to assemble in cultural hall for dharma classes. So today maybe half an hour. So we'll start with Chhandogya Upanishad. It's one of the mukhya or major or primary Upanishads. There are total 108 Upanishads. Some later editions, so we have total 256 Upanishads overall. But 108 are considered worth studying. The others are like repeated or more elaborated versions of the rest 108. Out of 108, 10 are mukhya or primary. And all these Upanishads, the summary of all these Upanishads is Bhagavad Gita. Even many of the shlokas, sentences, the concept you'll find in Upanishad concisely put into Bhagavad Gita. And extension of Upanishads in stories is Purana, 18 Puranas and Mukhya Puranas and 18 Up Puranas. So whatever you pick, make it your life mission. You'll be able to finish at least one. Now the name itself, Chhandogya. So Chand is a meter of all of our Shastras. They are written in poems, right? They are like poems. So they have meter. And meter, it's not proper word to convey the meaning of what we use. So Chanda meaning which covers the Devta that it represents. Say we take a Sukta, Purusha Sukta. So Purusha Sukta is written in Chand that covers that Devta in that Sukta. And by just reciting in that particular Chand, you bring out that form of the Devta. So that's the real meaning of Chand. And Chandogya is one of the oldest Upanishads. How we can say? It's based on its grammar and use of words. So based on that, we can say even there are some stories in Upanishads and they, based on that story type of social bond or social norms of that time, we can say this is one of the oldest Upanishads. It is taken from Samaveda, okay. Samaveda again is a collection of mantras from Rigveda. Rigveda is some 10,000 plus mantras. Out of those 10,000, some 2,500 are put into Samaveda. And from Samaveda, this Chandogya Upanishad is created. And there is a particular branch of Samaveda, Talavakar. And in Talavakar branch, there is a Chhandogya Brahman, which has 10 adhyayas. And out of those 10 adhyayas, last 8 are Chandogya Upanishad. So all these are like transitions from greater truth or hidden truth put into words in Upanishads. And Brahmana are like collection for some particular sadhana, which again are divided into Aranyak. Aranyak meaning going into forest and doing sadhana, tapa. So that is Aranyaka. and this represents Advaita Vedanta. So Chhandogya is more into Advaita principles of Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma. And I think everything is covered in this Upanishad. All that we want to know about Sanatana Dharma are put into this Upanishad. So let's start going through it. By the way, I am using this translation, this particular book, because it does not have any this is word to word translation. It does not do bhavartha, and that's why I chose this translation. So every Upanishad starts with a Shanti mantra, and Shanti mantra for Chhandogya Upanishad is, you might have heard, Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranas Chakshuhu Shrutra Matho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahmoupanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakaroda Nirakarana Mastva Nirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirate Ya Upanishatsu Dharmaste Mai Santu Te Mai Santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Meaning of this is, Om, may you grant strength to all my limbs, my speech, prana meaning vital life breath, eyes, ears, and all my senses. Everything is Brahma, says this Upanishad. May I never negate Brahma, nor Brahma ever negate me. Let every negation of Brahma be negated by me forever. Let all righteousness of the Upanishads reside in me. Yes, reside in me indeed. Om Shanti. So this is like a sankalpa. This is Shanti mantra. But again, it's kind of a sankalpa, meaning I take this vow that I never negate Brahma, meaning Brahma is everywhere, in everything. Brahma is Satya. If I negate, I become Nastik. That's how the principle is evolving. So I never negate Brahma. I always accept there is Brahma. And that Brahma reside in me. All the essence of Upanishads also reside in me. All my limbs, eyes, all the senses become strong, so that I never negate Brahma. So this is Shanti mantra as well as a sankalpa, just to make our wavering mind steady. Okay? So we are prepared to study now. And Prathama Adhyayah, Prathama Khanda. I am not sure. This just one Upanishad might take whole year. I am not sure. We'll see. This first khanda of first adhyaya is about Om. First verse, Om ityetadakshara mudagitha mupasita Om iti rudgayati tasyopavyakhyayanam. Meaning, Om indeed is the utterance that is worshipped as Udgit. Om, which is chanted at the beginning of worship. The following is its definition. Now even Bhagavad Gita says that. Right? So whenever you do any auspicious work, tapa, dana, dhyana, start with Om. Because Om is Udgit, meaning sacred chant. And Om represents Brahma, or Om is Brahma. We'll see further. So use that in one of the Upanishads. It is said that use Om as your tool. Use that tool to pierce Brahma and attain Brahma. And definition of Om, that is in the next verse. Second verse. Esham bhutanam prithvi rasaha prithivya apo rasaha अपामोषधयो रस ओषधीनां पुरुषो रसः पुरुषस्य वाग्रसो वाच रुग्रस रुचः साम रसः साम्न उदगिथो रसः. Meaning, the essence or rasa of these creatures or the bhuta, sarve bhuta, is earth. The essence of earth is water. The essence of water is aushadhi. The essence of aushadhi, herbs, is purusha. Namaste. The essence of purusha is speech. The essence of speech is Rigveda. The essence of Rigveda is Samaveda. The essence of Samaveda is Udgit, that is Om. So this is how it's actually reverse process. Right? So we see everything around us, Sarve Bhut, Panchabhuta and Apara Prakriti. So from that, everything that we can see, feel, touch, everything is built of. Now essence of that is earth. Earth meaning Prithvi Tattva, which is kind of solid, which is Sthula Jagat, or the world that we can, tangible world we can say. And essence of Prithvi is water. So this seems reverse, right? When water solidifies, it becomes ice, and ice is like earth. But here it is reverse. The essence of earth is water. So does not mean that filtering or filtration process that we use, it's not like that. This is completely different. So here the essence or rasa meaning subtle, sukshma. What is sukshmatar than Prithvi? That is jal, water. And what is the essence of water? That is, the word here is oshadhi. So every plant, every vanaspati, not vanaspati, I wouldn't use that word vanaspati, because vanaspati is reserved for som. Only that is vanaspati. Everything else is oshadhi or herb. And so every herb, every oshadhi is the essence of water. Now, because it extracts water, right, the herbs, and we know the science, how it produces the starch and all that, and how every oshadhi or every plant cures some disease, right? And essence of herb or oshadhi is Purusha, human. We need source of energy. Source of energy for us is plant, even if some are meat eaters, but ultimately the basis of food comes from herbs, oshadhi. So that is the human is essence of herb or oshadhi. And from Purusha, speech, everybody likes to talk, right? We like to talk. So that is our essence, because that's how we convey our meaning or information. And essence of speech, we use many words, many things to talk, but what is ultimate representation of speech? That is Rigveda. 10,000 plus mantras of Rigveda, that is essence of Vani or speech. And what is the essence of Rigveda? That is Samaveda. As I said, 2500 plus mantras of Rigveda is Samaveda. Now what is the essence of Samaveda? That is Udgit or Omkar. Because once you say Om, if you have that bhava, that feeling, that means you are uttering the whole Samaveda with Omkar. And once you utter that word, that sound, Udgit, with purity and with your focus, awareness, then it also becomes Rigveda. That means it represents the whole universe, the whole world. And that's how Om is everywhere. Even physics proves that Omkar, the frequency that it generates when we keep chanting Om, it creates a bandwidth, right? That bandwidth is kind of a white noise. That means it covers the complete spectrum of the sound. I'm not talking about electromagnetic waves because that's totally different, but at least the sound, speech. So whatever words we use, whatever singing pattern we use, that all have different frequency and bandwidth, right? But Omkar covers complete audio range. So that is like a white noise. That means it covers all the frequencies. So this is the definition of Om. Further, third verse. Sa esha rasanamra satamah paramah parardhyo ashtamo yadudgithah. Meaning that which is the supreme of all essences, that which is the final or the ultimate symbol, the eighth, that indeed is Udgitha. Now, very interestingly, the number is chosen is 8. Udgit is representation of 8th. Why not 7? Why not 6? Right? Because if we look at our visible light, right? The visible light spectrum, it has 7 colors. The rainbow colors. Only those, between those frequencies we can see light. But Omkar is beyond that, and that's why it's 8th. And that's why it represents Parbrahma or Paramatma. Because even in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, I cannot be perceived, I am unmanifest or beyond unmanifest. We can see ultraviolet or light, gamma rays, X-rays, right? We can tap, we have sensors for that. But Om is even beyond that. Maybe it's a propagating wave which covers the whole or entire universe, right, in physical terms. And that's why this number 8 is chosen. I recently came across a sentence from Einstein. Einstein said that it is very interesting that the whole universe, whatever you want to explain, mathematics fits perfectly there. All the mathematical equations, they can define everything in this universe. How amazing! How is it possible? It's because the numbers are chosen to represent some entity in the universe. Right? When we say Shunya, we exactly know what is Shunya, right? I'm not talking about 0 or the place value 0. I'm talking about Shunya. We all know what it represents, right? Then Ek, 1. So that is Brahma. That means everything is covered in 1. And 0 is Parabrahma, what is beyond Brahma. So that means all these numbers are chosen to represent something physical or subtle in this universe or beyond universe. That means any mathematical equation is going to represent the phenomenon of the physical reality. And that's why what Einstein says, our Rishis already knew, because that's how they created these number systems. Right? Somebody would argue the decimal system and all that was documented by Bhaskaracharya or Aryabhat, all these great people, some 1500 years ago, right? That's what they say. But when we read Rigveda, it has many different number systems used. Like it does not have 0, Shunya, but it has 1, 2, 3, even 10. How come 10? Right? Meaning they have some notion of place value, then 100, then 1000, then koti, 1000. So why these words are used in Rigveda? That means they had some kind of system. Even though it was refined, it properly represented in numerals later on, but the number system was always existed in the Vedic time. So the 8th Om is representation of Paramatma or Parbrahma. Right? You can stop me anytime, right? If you have a question, please stop me. fourth verse. Katama katamarka tamatka tamatsama katamaha katama udgitha iti vimrushtam bhavati. Meaning, which one of the many is Rug? Which one of many is Sama? Which one of many is Udgitha? That is the contemplation. So this is food for thought. What you consider as Rigveda, what you consider as Samaveda, and what is Om. Just think over it. I mean, Rishi is challenging Shishya. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says that this universe is like inverted Ashwatha Vruksha, Ashwatha tree. It is inverted. And all the Veda mantras are leaves of that tree. That means whatever we speak, whatever we say is contained as a Rigvedic mantra. So what is in reality Rigveda? Right? We know there are 10,000 plus mantras in Rigveda, but that is a compilation. So what is real Rigveda? Because the word Ruk, right? Ruk is something that represents Satya or universal law or universal rule, universal niyama. That is Ruk. That is put into words or letters, that is Rigveda. So whatever you can think of is Rigveda. Then what is Samaveda? Whatever we think, we cannot always sing, right? What we can sing. Singing requires a lot of different faculties of mind, right? And not everyone can sing, right? So whoever can sing can collect some faculties of mind. So those words they can put into different sound or frequencies. That seems pleasant. And that's why Sri Krishna says, Vedanam Samavedo Aham. Right? In Vedas, I am Samaveda. And even in Samaveda, if you don't know how to sing, Om. Everybody can do that, right? At least. So that is Udgitha. Now, Rishi is answering. Fifth verse. Vage vak pranaha samo mitye tadakshara mudgitha tadva etan mithunam yadvakcha pranascharcha samacha. Meaning, speech is Rug. The Vak or Vani, that is Rigveda. Prana is Samaveda. Because Vani requires air, right? If you don't have air, you cannot speak. So that air, that prana is Sama. And utterance Om is Udgita, because Om requires from your navel to nose. All those parts are involved when we say Om, right? They form a couple, a mithuna, right? Speech and prana. So if prana is pati, then Vani is patni in other terms. Or in other words, Rug and Sam. So Rigveda is speech and prana is sound. Now prana, if you might have heard the ajapa japa, right? When we breathe in, breathe out, that creates a sound that we cannot hear. If we try, we can hear, but not usually. So it is Hansa, Soham Hansa, right? That mantra. We constantly do that. So that is Prana mantra or Hansa mantra or Ajapa Japa. So even if we don't know any mantra, if we don't do any mantra jap, just concentrate on breathing, like Vipassana, right? Bhagwan Buddha, he preached that Vipassana. So just concentrate on breath going in, going out. So that becomes your sadhana, because that is prana. You focus on prana, and that is Sama, Samaveda. And essence of that is Om. Sixth verse. Tadetan mithuna momityetasmin nakshare samsrujyate yada vai mithunau samagacchata apayato vai tavanyonyasya kamam. Meaning, and that mithuna or couple become united in the utterance Om. When these two lovers come towards each other, they fulfill each other's desires. Now, 10,000 feet, this might look like very much physical. That we are taking air in, we create that utterance Om, so that prana and speech they combine and we create this sound Om. But Rishi says that if we do this, they fulfill each other's desires. Right? So what is the desire of speech or Vani? To convey the inner expression outward. Right? We go outward, whatever the thought process is. And that's how the world is created. Paramatma had a sankalp. Why? We don't know or we cannot know. But Paramatma had sankalp, at least we know that. And that sankalpa created this world, this universe. So this is outward expression of that sankalpa. That sankalpa was within, but sankalpa, when it materialized, it became universe or world. So similarly, speech or Vani, the fundamental purpose of that is to express outward. Prana. Prana is going inward, and that gives life, and that is represented in speech or vak. So prana is a fundamental force, Shakti. So Shiva and Shakti, we can also see it like that. When Shiva and Shakti combine, they create this universe. And that is represented in Om. And that's why it is said that they fulfill each other's desires. Meaning Paramatma's sankalp. Whenever we breathe in, breathe out, we are fulfilling the sankalpa of Paramatma. And that's why Vipassana sadhana, when we do that, we just observe. If we have a guru or a particular system we follow, we must. If we don't have any system, just observing, breathe, will give all the rahasyas of universe or world, and very fundamental. And everybody can do that, even while sleeping, right? When you fall asleep, before the sleep takes over, you can just observe your breath. Very simple. Right? I think we should stop here.
I have a question.
Yes.
Rigved, you saying the Sunya, there are 10, 100, all that.
Right, right.
So there is somewhere 10, there is Sunya is there.
Yes.
It's not recognized.
Right. Not a symbol, but at least they knew the place values. They had 10, 100, 1000, koti, meaning 10 million. So they had all these place values.
Because they know the sky, star.
Yes, yes. Because they wanted to represent the whole universe in these numbers. And that's why those numbers are created.
So it exists long time.
Yes. At least 7,000 years. I would dare to say 12,000 years, because first three mandalas of Rigved, they represent geography of after Ice Age. Exactly those conditions they mention. That means it's at least 12,000 years old. So since then, those number system is there. Because we know the story, right? Vaivasvat Manu and Mata Shatrupa. They preserve humanity. That means humans were already there. They survived Ice Age. That means they already had established systems. And they just kind of compiled again what existed before. And I always say that our Puranas, even though they look like stories, they are historical documents. Because some of the events, like I can go on and on, many of those events talk about Chakshush Manvantar stories and that type of geography and atmosphere. Even they say that the humans of Chakshush Manvantar had face of canine. Not canine, what is the right word? The species of cat. Feline, right, feline. So those type of faces. That means there were humans, but they evolved not from apes, they evolved from cats. And these are the words that are documented, written. They also mention some of the astronomical events, and that cycle is repeated every 27,000 years. So they go back at least 27,000 years or even beyond. If we talk about Kalpa, is 250 million years, and that's exactly how much time a solar system takes to revolve around galaxy. So all these numbers represent the universe, and rishis somehow they knew. And we'll touch base on all those aspects to this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.